Hey, I'm Brian with Reclaimed Republic. If this is your first time stopping by, I'm a full-time eBay reseller and part-time YouTube content creator. On eBay, I sell in the everything category. So I sell pots, pans, tools, stuffed animals, and this week we're going to add artwork to the mix of things that I sell as well. We'll get into more of that later. If you're here for the thumbnail, we're going to talk about that first, and then we're going to get into weekly sales. Let's get into the details. So going into 2025, there were a few things I was wanting to do with my store. I took a little bit of personal time and had some house projects I was doing right at the beginning of the year. So I've made the changes over the past week and a half, and just want to share those with you, some things that I'm doing with my business to help me better track my sales, to level up a little bit, and also to make a positive impact on my sales overall. So first thing is I subscribe to Flipwise, which is a software to online based software that Justin resells, and I forget his partner's name that collaborated with him on that, but it's a really cool software. I've been watching him use it and talk about it for quite a while, and decided to just dive right into it. I've got all my inventory imported. I've got almost all of my costing loaded in there, and am starting to track the way the sales appear versus the way I've been tracking them manually. But I think for my store, it's $20 a month for now, and then it'll probably go up as I'm adding more and more items to my store. But or it will go up as I'm adding more and more items to my store. But it's really cool. It gives you lots of information, lots of reporting, lots of different views on your inventory. So if you're new to that type of thing, that type of software, I'm going to leave a link for it down below. I'm not associated with it in any way. It just seems really awesome. Gives you tax reporting. It plugs directly into your eBay store, and it'll import your last 2 years worth of data, which is huge, because you can't even really pull out your last 2 years worth of data on eBay that easily at all. So yeah, so I'm going to be getting more and more, or using that more and more, and getting deeper into all of the tools that it has to offer to better run my business. That's big change number one for me. Big change number two is I turned on best offer on every item that I have in my store. I sold on best offer a long time ago, whenever I was first getting started. I say a long time ago, 6 years ago or so. And I ended up turning it off after, not because anybody said to, but I was paying attention to other resellers, watching their content, and I was getting so many people. I was going back and forth over dollars and cents, and sometimes it was frustrating. A lot of times, to me, I kind of view it as like it's like a game of poker. You're going to see who has the best cards, and so I was watching other resellers, and I saw resellers that were selling stuff, and they never talked about offers, or they were always selling it for their full price. So in my head, I thought, man, I would think you're really limiting the number of sales you could get. But I ended up trying that, and I moved to that model, and started selling everything at just listing it at full price, not having offers turned on. I could send out offers to prospective buyers, but I didn't have best offer turned on. Occasionally, I mean, over the past year and a half or so, maybe 2 years, whenever I switched to just, static price, I've probably gotten, 15 or 20 in total messages from people asking if I would take a lower price. And, in eBay, typically, unless you've sent an offer to that person already, it'll allow you to send an offer through the messaging system. So they would ask, and if I was agreeable to it, I'd send them the offer in the message, in my reply. But I decided to go back to best offer just to see what happens. I'm not diving all in on it. I did turn on all items, but I want to see how it plays out. I've already gotten a couple sales this week. Actually, I say this week. I've gotten 2 today, and I don't know. There might have been 1 or 2 more in the past week or so that I've gotten on best offer. So when I looked at it, it was an offer that I probably would have sent. If I saw an interested buyer, I would have sent them that offer anyhow. It fit right into my pricing model. I have that margin built in, so it just makes sense for me to take another look at it. So I am, and we'll see how that goes. Big change number 3, and I don't know if it's that big, but it's something new for me, is store coupons. I did a video on this earlier this week, and I want to talk about it just a little bit more. I was watching Thrift Boss on YouTube. If you're not familiar with him, I'm going to link his channel down below. He's got lots of great information. He's got a really high sell-through rate on his store, and sells some cool products. But he was talking about, he posted a video where he was talking about, it was something like 2, 3, or 4x your business, and he was talking about store coupons, where he does it in tiers, like I think 3 different tiers depending on the age of the inventory in a store. And then he'll do it over a weekend, say a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or a Saturday, Sunday. And then starting Monday, for like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, he'll start sending out offers to all the watchers because the coupon expired. They didn't buy the item, it's still available. Now it's to go back and hit them with the offer to say, hey, you missed the coupon. Do you want to take the offer and get the item you were looking at? So I was like, it's not going to hurt me. Let's see what happens. So I kicked it off this past weekend. I ran a 20% off on almost my entire store. I did not include items I had just listed over the past, few days, brand new items. Put a 20% off coupon on 350 some items, and got a handful of sales based on it. It looked like it was based on the coupon because there were some older items that were getting no action at all that sold. Then the sale went off. Monday morning, I had 35 watchers on items, so I started sending out offers. I took a little bit different approach. I sent all my offers Monday morning because I wanted to just flood people. I think when he was talking about it, he said something like 100 or 150 or something watchers, and I only had 35, so I just sent all mine at one time, and I've been getting sales from that. In fact, just about 45 minutes ago, I got a sale on a coffee mug that was directly related to the offer that I sent Monday morning for that mug because it had watchers. So I've gotten 2 or 3 now based on the offers that I sent out from the watchers over the weekend. So I don't know if I would have sold those one way or the other, but I'm going to keep with this for probably going to say 60 to 90 days. I'm going to stick with that program. I may switch up the way I do the coupons and see how it's affecting my sales, my sell-through rate as a percentage of inventory. Not just necessarily more sales, but it's my inventory sales going from 0.9 or 1% to 1.5 to 2%. So we're just going to have to see how that plays out. And I'll talk about that on the weekly updates as that's playing out, and just let everybody know if I'm finding any value in doing that. There is not a lot of time involved in it, but there is some time involved. And obviously, if you're selling things at a discount, you are, eating into your profit. But yeah, we're just going to have to see how that goes, and I'll keep everybody updated. So, all right. Let's talk about store sales for last week. Last week, we had a total of $506.18 in sales. And after fees, shipping, promo fees, cost of goods, everything, pre-tax profit of $289.69. Glad to see that. It's a 57% profit margin. I had a little bit of a ding with a personal item I sold that zeroed out the profit. And then whenever we get into the worst sales here, especially when we get into the worst sale, you'll see something else that dinged that profit margin a little bit. But just keep on learning. There was 29 items sold last week. You'll see all that right up here. So 29 items sold. Estate sales were my number one source for inventory again. That was 11 items, or 38% of the items sold. Promoted items, so items that I sold, as a promoted listing, there was 19 of those of the 29, or 66% of the sales. So it's pretty substantial there, which I've seen 60s to 70s, and that makes sense to me as people are trying to save money, and they're, if they're looking for a good price item and mine's right at the top, then there you go. So, and then offers. So this one is a little bit wonky. So it's 17 items, or 59% of the items sold. That's probably skewed because I can't tell if I look at offers based on, did I sell it for full price or not? I don't know how many of those were actually offers that I had sent before the coupon, or just because of the coupon, would they have bought it? I don't know that. I didn't pull that data. I didn't get that deep into the data. But so 17 items were sold on an offer, and 10 of those were double dips. So 10 items were sold on an offer and on a promoted listing. So got double dipped on the fees there, which I've talked about. I have that built in, so it doesn't bother me. And I just know, like, all the stuff I'm doing is working the right way, especially if you see that the offer enticed them. They were looking at it because it was high up in the in the rankings of their item search. The price was right, so they bought it. All right, now let's look at, we're going to start off with the worst 5 sales from last week. Now these are worst in profit dollars. Some of them I would probably buy and sell again. At some point I may not, but today I probably would. And then some of these I definitely would probably buy the item, but I would just do some of the stuff a little bit differently with it whenever I sold it. So we'll talk about the 5 worst. And I'm going to give a shout out to Buddy Elvis 1, and put his comment right up here. I'm learning from you what not to sell, laughing cry emoji face. Which I thought was hilarious when I read it. That's exactly what I'm trying to get across whenever I'm talking about my worst sales, or items to watch out for. Is some of these for a lot of people aren't worth selling, and some of these I wouldn't buy and sell again. Some of them I would, but I'm glad that somebody got a kick out of that. So shout out, Buddy Elvis 1, if you're watching. All right, coming in at the 5th worst sale of the week is this little Halloween pin. I actually featured this in its very own short video. But this Halloween pin, picked it up at an estate sale. My wife picked this out for $1.10, sold it for $7.56, sold that on an offer, and made a $4.48 pre-tax profit for a 59% profit margin. Profit margin's okay. Profit itself, not great. I would be more concerned if this was some big complex item that had to take 15 pictures of, and it was really hard to pack. Pictures and packing on that item, I don't know, took 2 minutes total. It was so easy to deal with because it was so small. Just tiny bit of bubble and a poly bag and out the door. So got that one out to a new home. 4th worst sale of the week is this Minolta camera. I've known this one was coming at some point. It's been floating around in my inventory. I've not been able to sell it. I've sent offers. It's just, I'm glad it's gone. Paid $2 for it at a garage sale. Sold it for $15.89 free shipping. And yeah, it's gone. So $4.26 pre-tax profit for a 27% profit margin. Good news is I got more than my money back, and I've had it in inventory for quite a while, probably 6 months or more. But yeah, I can go spend that money on new inventory. Let's see here. The 3rd worst sale of the week is this vintage Amity wallet. This is it was a cool piece. I had another one, another style, same brand, that wasn't worth listing at all. This one was, I ended up selling it at an offer, but bought it for $2.20 at an estate sale. Sold it for $8.70 on an offer for a $3.20 pre-tax profit, or 37% profit margin. It's a cool piece because it's so old and it was still brand new in the package. But I bought it on the first day of an estate sale. Probably shouldn't have. Should have, waited till it was $1 or 50 cents. I don't know how many people are buying old wall. I mean, I don't know, but I overpaid for it, really. And even if I had bought it for $1, still may not have been worth it overall. But it's got a new home. I've got my money back. All right, let's look at the second worst sale of the week. Are these Verbatim CDRs? I picked these up at a garage sale, I believe, for $3. I know I paid $3, but I don't remember if it was a garage sale or thrift store. I think it was a garage sale. And sold those for $9.51 plus shipping. Those were on an offer. That was on the coupon, 20% off coupon. Made a $2.80 pre-tax profit, or a 29% profit margin. So not phenomenal, but again, got a little bit of profit there. So I'm happy as a clam. And then let's look at the worst sale of the week. This one was kind of a bummer. It's this Risk board game. I bought a whole bunch of board games from a lady at a garage sale one Saturday morning. She had a whole stack of them on a table, and I don't remember now. I think I offered her 20 or 25 bucks. Maybe it was 30 bucks. Maybe it was $30. I don't know. There was 13 or 14 of them, and I said, would you take this amount if I bought all of them? And she goes, oh, no, I couldn't do that. And before I could even say a word, she goes, okay, that'll work. She like negotiated herself down. So, and I said, oh, okay, are you sure? And she goes, I just thought about, do I want to try to sell these board games one at a time all day long? Because I think she wanted like $5 a piece for them. And I think I got them down. They were like $2.50 a board game is what they came out to. So I've sold every other one of them except for this was the last one. And I've made money on all of them except this one. For some reason, whenever I was putting in the shipping dimensions, I had my dimensions, the dimension and total weight wrong. I probably did. I did a sell similar, and I'm betting I didn't go in and alter the shipping weights and dimensions, and totally jacked up the sale. So lesson to me. And I was just watching. I'm trying to remember who it was. It's like, is it Thrifty Redhead or somebody today talking about that? And I was like, too true, too true. It just happened to me. So this Risk board game, bought it for $2.50, sold it for $10.57 on an offer. Negative $4.91 profit. Negative 46% profit margin. The shipping just smacked me right upside the head on this one, and I had it all packed up. It wasn't going to be a great sale anyhow, but I had it all packed up, and I was like, there's nothing I can do. Like, not even reboxing it was going to matter at that point. So, and I'm thinking about the amount of time just to unbox the whole thing and then rebox it, even if I could, just didn't make sense. So got it to its new home, lost $5, and $5 is a cheap lesson, tell you that. But so my reminder there is to always pay attention to your dimensions and your weights whenever you're listing items, especially for selling similar. I've even noticed that this week. There was something I listed yesterday, and it weighed like 7 or 8 pounds, and whenever I went into the sell similar weight, they had it at 3 ounces. They were charging shipping, but they are maybe theirs was free shipping, but I could have swore that I saw plus however much shipping on the thing. but they had it like 3 ounces. Like, what in the world's going on? So I usually catch that, but this time I didn't, and it bit me. So, all right, now we're going to get into the 5 best sales of the week. This is the fun part. Definitely going to see some better profit margins and profit dollars whenever we get into these 5 items. Before we get started, I want to give a little credit to Jason Wells, 7997. I'm going to put his comment right up here, because some of the items I pulled out and are in these top 5 came from my Money Mountain, which I used to call unlisted inventory because I didn't want to call it a death pile because it sounds so like doom. But he said he calls it the Money Mountain. I asked him if he minded if I steal that from him, and he said go for it. So 2 of the top 5 items came out of my Money Mountain. So thank you, Jason. All right, looking at number 5 is this vintage plum claw hammer. Only picked this up about a week and a half ago at an estate sale whenever I was in Colorado. Picked it up for $2 and a big bundle of tools that I bought. Sold it for $24.89 plus shipping. Sold out at full price for an $18.48 pre-tax profit, or 74% profit margin. I ended up having 2 plum hammers that sold over this past weekend, and it made me stop and think about other ones that I've sold and that I have listed, and all that same brand, because it was a more common brand before there was 80 brands of hammers, at the home improvement store. So I made a video talking about hammers and something to watch out for. But that brand Plumb, Plumb, is something to look out for if you're a reseller and you like selling tools or see some tools. Check out hammers, and you can find those really old hammers. If they say Plumb on the head, they're $1 or $2, probably worth picking up. So just keep an eye out for those. All right, moving on to the 4th best sale of the week. Came from that same estate sale in Colorado. Are these Armstrong? They're really small wrenches and open open face wrenches, and they're like for ignition systems in cars, because they have these really small, very down to the 32nd inch size. So cool little wrench set. Set of 9. Picked that up for $4.40. Sold it for $26.30 plus shipping for a $19.74 pre-tax profit, or a 75% profit margin. So love seeing those 70s and the profit margins, especially anything above $10-15 when you're in the 70s. That's pretty good. All right, number 3 and number 2 both came out of the Money Mountain. So number 3 is this set of 2 oil paintings right up here. So it's a vintage set of oil paintings. They were listed as 9x12s, but I think they were like 8.25 by 11.25 edges of the frames. These were originally purchased way back from Montgomery Ward, and they were oil paintings, acrylic oil paintings on like canvas boards or painting boards. They were all framed up, and really cool little pieces. But yeah, I found them at a garage sale. There was a little box, and it said like Barbara's bedroom wall 2 or something like that. And there was 2 sets of these different paintings in this box, along with some other stuff, and the whole box was $2. I was like, $2? I mean, why wouldn't you buy them and just check them out? So bought the box, put a cost of $1 on these this set of 2, sold them for $31.91 plus shipping for a $23.39 pre-tax profit, or a 73% profit margin. I was really happy to see those find a new home. Somebody who thought they were as cool as I did, and wanted to buy them. So, and then number 2 is another set of these oil paintings. This was the other set out of the box. I did not know at all that these little small or miniatures or whatever people are calling them, these vintage oil paintings, were this popular. I didn't price them at bottom of the barrel pricing. So it was just kind of shocked me that I sold them both pretty fast after listing them. But yeah, these ones, this set I actually liked myself. I almost kept them, but then I just, at the last minute I didn't. I have plenty of artwork and didn't keep them. So this second best sale of the week, so paid $1, sold these for $33.91. So, you know, $2 more on this set for a $25.07 pre-tax profit, or a 74% profit margin. And it was funny because I didn't say anything to my wife about them. I never even showed them to her after I bought them. And whenever I showed the what sold video on those, she messaged me and she goes, "I like that one on the bottom of that set." And I got home and I said, "So did I. I almost kept it." And it was so funny that I never said anything to her, and that's the one I really liked, and it was the same one that she really liked. So it's just funny how that works. But yeah. All right. And then the best sale of the week. This one shocked me a little bit. I was saying it was in the Colorado trip, but so 3 of the top 5 came from that trip. That's pretty funny. I noticed that. It's at a thrift store, at a Goodwill, just local there, and I saw this Kirkland. I saw a saucepan, interesting shape. I flipped it over, it said Kirkland Signature Professional, you know, made in Thailand, and it's like, put it down. I was like, it's a Costco pan. And then I stopped myself. I went back, I looked it up, and they sold. So it wasn't a ton listed, not a ton available, but people do buy them. So, because if it occurred to me, I've been a Costco shopper for years, that Costco tends to take quality products and put their brand on it, or find a way to make their, you know, a nice product affordable. So that's why I looked it up and then ended up seeing the value. And it struck me because it was so heavy whenever I picked it up. It was the heaviest. It's much heavier than, say, a Salad Master saucepan or a permanent stainless steel saucepan. It was quite a bit heavier than those even. So that's what made me stop and think about it. If it had been a super flimsy thing, I probably wouldn't have. But yeah, looked it up, and I was able to pick it up for $5.50. No lid, just the saucepan, and sold it for $49.89 plus shipping, or a $31 pre-tax profit, or 62% profit margin. So still a really good profit margin. Awesome profit on that one. I even lost a little bit of money on the shipping because I thought it was going to fit in one size of box. I didn't measure from the handle to the handle. It has 2 handles on it. I just eyeballed it. I was like, oh yeah, it'll fit in that box, and it didn't. I had to put it in a little bit bigger box, and threw me into a different price bracket, and I think I had to eat $4 something on that shipping. So it happens. But yeah, if you've never picked up Kirkland cookware, it might be something to look out for. And I don't know if it's all resellable. I saw some big stock pots that looked like they had a, I don't know, 300-400% sell-through rate, especially the ones that were made in Italy. Apparently they had done some that were made in Italy, and they're hard to find. But the one I had was made in Thailand, and there was some that I saw listed that were made in Taiwan, maybe, also. But if you find the made in Italy, I think there's some money in those for sure. But okay, enough of my rambling about saucepans. That is total of all the sales this week. Not a bad week. I listed a bunch of items towards the end of the week, so falling just short of my 1% of inventory doesn't bother me as much, because I think the sales were catching up to the listings, the percentage, and the algorithm catching it, and if that makes sense. But so 29 sales doesn't bother me at all. Well, right now we're sitting at about 600 plus subscribers to the channel, which is just like every time I see new people, you know, subscribing and commenting, or, you know, on multiple videos over a period of time, it just like, it's the most humbling thing in the world to think that anybody out there in the world spends any amount of time listening to what I have to say about what I'm doing here, my whole journey on eBay and reselling and making videos on YouTube. So I just thank you so much for everybody that's watching. And if you're not subscribed, that's completely fine. Keep watching if you like the videos, or tell me to go pound sand, whatever. But I just really appreciate all the support, and we'll have another one of these videos next week. And I hope you have a great day.